Hello! Today we're going to be comparing Unitarian and Trinitarian theology. Unitarians believe that God is one person and one being, whereas Trinitarians believe that God is three persons and one being. Orthodox Islam and Judaism are Unitarian, whereas Orthodox Christianity is Trinitarian. So any argument for Trinitarianism is going to count as an argument for Christianity rather than Islam or Judaism. Now, before getting into any such argument, I'm going to start with some points of agreement between the two theological views. I think that both Unitarians and Trinitarians should say that God has all good properties, like infinite power, knowledge, and wisdom. And also, that it's not just an accident that he has these attributes. He must have these attributes. He has them necessarily. Also, I think that we should agree that the stuff God created is not necessary. God could have refrained from creating our world. The importance of this for our present purposes is that God's having good properties doesn't depend on creation in any way. His possessing all good properties is totally intrinsic to him. Now, I want to focus on what the world would be like if God decided not to create anything. There's God and nothing else. Does God have all good properties in this hypothetical scenario? We should all want to say yes. But there is an argument that only a Trinitarian actually can say yes due to the nature of a certain good property. This property is, well, love. It's quite obvious that being loving is a good property. But if there was only one person in existence, then love itself would be impossible, since love requires a relationship between distinct persons. A Trinitarian believes that even if God was the only being which existed, there would still be three persons who could have loving relationships with each other. But what would a Unitarian say? Who is there for God to love if God is the only person? Now, if I was a Unitarian, I would try to counter this notion that love cannot exist if there's only one person. Maybe God simply loves himself. However, I find this response to be problematic. While it's true that individuals can love themselves, the best kind of love is relational and directed towards others. But instead of exploring this argument any further, I want to offer my own variation of this common argument. I think that there's another property that a Unitarian God would lack if he did not create anything or anyone. He would lack the property of being funny. Being funny is a good property, which guarantees that God has it, and it is impossible for funniness to exist if there is only one person in all of reality. A Trinitarian could easily maintain that, within the Godhead, there are going to be inside jokes, running gags, and all manners of humor that ensures the omni-hilarity of God. But what could a Unitarian say? That God finds himself funny? Unfortunately for the Unitarian, this maneuver is a less plausible defense now than it was before. If we consider a case where a person tells a joke, but they are literally the only person in existence who finds themselves funny, we find that person kinda sad. It's only when another person appreciates the humor that the joke teller can truly be said to be funny. This is further evidenced by all of our experience with funniness. If you come up with a good joke or find a funny video, you don't want to just keep it to yourself. You want to share it because that's the proper context that humor is supposed to be in. So if I was a Unitarian, I wouldn't try to counter the impossibility of funniness if only one person existed. Rather, I would try to counter the notion that funniness is good in the first place. Maybe God is beyond the humor of us mere mortals, and such emotions don't even matter to him. I think that this would be a hard argument to make, though, because we naturally praise things as better if they're funny. Anyways, I just found it interesting that a Trinitarian could give a variation of the classic love-based argument against Unitarianism, but based on humor, and how it inverts the defense Unitarians should give. But that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content.